Uttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudipye Naishvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 22, Krishna steals the garments of the unmarried gopis. Text 7 onwards. Nadya kadachit agatya tira nikshipya purvat vasansi Krishnam gayantyo vijrahu salile muda. One day, they means the unmarried gopis, Kumarikas, they all wanted to have Krishna as a husband and they worship Mother Katyayani, Durga Ji. So one day they came to the river bank and putting aside their clothing as they had done before, happily played in the water while singing the glories of Krishna. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this incident occurred on the day the young gopis completed their vow, which was a full moon day. So Purnima to Purnima, they carried out this vow. To celebrate the successful completion of their vow, the girls invited young Radharani, the daughter of Rishbhanu and the special object of their affection, along with other important gopis and brought them all to the river to bathe. So they brought everybody, Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, they asked them to come. Their playing in the water was meant to serve as Avabhrit Snan, the ceremonial bath taken immediately upon the completion of a Vedic sacrifice. Srila Prabhupada comments as follows. It's an old system among Indian girls and women that when they take bath in the river, they place their garments on the bank and dip into the water completely naked. The portion of the river where the girls and women take bath was strictly prohibited to any male, and this is still the system. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing the minds of the unmarried young gopis, awarded them their desired objective. They had prayed for Krishna to become their husband, and Krishna wanted to fulfill their desires. So, of course, we will study this pastime. So, where people, those who don't know about Krishna, those who don't know about the scriptures at all, they don't know the details, they blame Krishna, oh, he used to steal the clothes of the unmarried, they were bathing in the water. Well, they wanted Krishna as their husband. Even if you look at this by this logic, even if you forget any other logic, they wanted Krishna as their husband. Krishna fulfilled their desire. What did he do wrong? Nothing. And obviously, Krishna is not just an ordinary person. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And these gopis, or Kumarikas, and along with all the young, all the other gopis were also there. I don't want to say elder. Elder gopis are like motherly gopis. But Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, all the other gopis were also there. So, actually, we see Krishna's pastimes with our consciousness, with the lens of our consciousness, which is covering our eyes. We see his pastimes. It's those anarthas are in our hearts when we say Krishna is doing immoral activities. Those anarthas are in us. It's not in Krishna. Krishna is supremely pure, and by chanting his name, people become pure. Devotees become pure. Just by holding on to his lotus feet, devotees become pure. Get out of this Maya, world of Maya. So how can he be in any illusion or have any material desires? Because of our anarthas, our desires, the desires to enjoy opposite sex, we see Krishna's pastimes as if he is desiring to enjoy opposite sex. That's where the problem is. And that is why Prabhupada again and again and again and again study under bona fide spiritual master. Why? Because that bona fide spiritual master coming in the proper parampara, and if he is properly placed, he will not present the scriptures through his eyes or through his consciousness. He will present the scriptures as they're coming down, means completely bona fide. And when we study these scriptures properly presented by somebody like Srila Prabhupada, then our consciousness changes, and then we can see properly what Krishna's pastimes really are. Otherwise, we won't be able to see. If somebody is writing through his contaminated glasses, seeing, and then he's writing, or whatever he's visualizing, he's writing. So he's impure, and by reading his books, we will become impure. So what is the point? We'll be committing offenses. Just like when this serial, Mahabharat serial, was being telecast on TV many years ago, the one by B.R. Chopra. So either that, but somehow I'm coming to Ramanand Sagar because I heard him on TV. I still remember. Ramanand Sagar, he said that, Acharya Vinoba Bhave, he talked about this pastime of Krishna and the gopis, Krishna stealing the clothes of gopis. And Acharya Vinoba Bhave said, Krishna was very little. He was maybe 2 or 3 years old. And kids at that age, they have no sexual desire in their heart. We should take this pastime this way. No, why? Why twist the scriptures? Krishna was not 2 or 3 years old. And the Gopikas, they wanted Krishna as a husband. So they were not also little girls, 1.5 years old. And when we study the details, then we realize it's not this. Vinoba Bhave was trying to hide the real meaning. Why? Because people will misunderstand. Prabhupada has given these books, if we read it properly, will not misunderstand. That's the point. There's nothing to hide. What is there to hide? And when we hide, when we try to manipulate the words of the scriptures, then people lose faith in the scriptures. They lose faith in Lord. They lose faith in the process of devotional service. Everything is gone. Why hide? Why change the words? Why misinterpret? If I don't know anything, I should just say, I don't know. Simple as that. And then that's when people they don't follow. They don't want to follow the scriptures or the religion or spirituality because they lose faith if we don't give the right thing. And Prabhupada, this is why Prabhupada's books are amazingly written. If we just read them with open mind, open heart, definitely our hearts will be transformed. So Krishna was awarding their desired objective. That's all. Bhagwastat abhipretya Krishno yogeshwareshwarah vyasyar avritas tatra gatastat karma siddhahe. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Master of all masters of mystic yoga, was aware of what the gopis were doing, and thus he went there surrounded by his young companions to award the gopis the perfection of their endeavor. Okay. So Krishna did not take everybody over there. He did not take Balramji. He did not take his other friends like Madhumangal and Subal and Sridham because they were old enough. He took little friends, younger cowherd boys with him because they could go. If the girls are naked, the young little boys can go. But Krishna himself went because Krishna wanted to fulfill the desire of these gopis. The gopis, like all young girls from respectable families, considered the embarrassment of appearing naked before a young boy to be worse than giving up their lives. Yet Lord Krishna made them come out of the water and bow down to him. Although the bodily forms of gopis were all fully developed, and although Krishna met them in a secluded place and brought them fully under his control, because the Lord is completely transcendental, there was not a trace of material desires in his mind. Lord Krishna is the ocean of transcendental bliss, and he wanted to share his bliss with the gopis on the spiritual platform, completely free from ordinary lust. And here Shukdev Goswami, see what he is saying in the shloka. Bhagwan Sad Abhiprete. He's calling Krishna Supreme Personality Godhead, and who? Yogeshwareshwara is the master of mystic yogis. One cannot become mystic yogi if he has any tinge of material desires. If he doesn't have his mind under full control, he cannot become a mystic yogi. And here Krishna is who? Master of all, master of mystic yoga. So how can Krishna have any material desires? None whatsoever. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the companions of Krishna mentioned here were mere toddlers, 2 or 3 years old. They were completely naked and were unaware of the difference between male and female. Yes, these boys were toddlers who were companions of Krishna. When Krishna went out to herd the cows, they followed him because they were so attached to him that they could not bear to be without his association. But the other cowherd boys, they didn't come here with Krishna. They were with Balramji herding the cows. Tasam vasansi upadaya nipam aruya satvara hasadhi prahasan bala parihasam uvachaha. Taking the girl's garments, he quickly climbed to the top of a kadamba tree. Then, as he laughed loudly and his companions also laughed, he addressed the girls jokingly. Atra gatya bala kamam swam vasa pragriyatam satyam bravani no narma yadyuyam vrat karshiti. Lord Krishna said, my dear girls, you may each come here as you wish and take back your garments. I'm telling you the truth and I'm not joking with you, since I see you are fatigued from executing austere vows. So this is really a perplexing situation for the girls. They are in the water naked and it is cold. It's the month of December, early morning, when they came to take the bath, and Krishna has taken the clothes and he has climbed on the tree. Now what to do? Na mayodita purvam anritam tatime vidu eke kasha prati chadvam sahaveti sumadhyama. I have never before spoken a lie, of course. We all know that. He ate dirt, but he told Yashoda Maya, I didn't eat dirt. But that's Krishna. Whatever he says, that is dharma actually. He said, I have never before spoken a lie, and these boys know it. Therefore, O slender-waisted girls, please come forward, either one by one or all together, and pick out your clothes. Tasya tat shvelitam trishtva gopya prem pariplutaha vridita prekshya cha anyonyam jata hasa naniryayu. Seeing how Krishna was joking with them, the gopis became fully immersed in love for him. And as they glanced at each other, they began to laugh and joke among themselves, even in their embarrassment. But still, they did not come out of the water. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this verse as follows. The gopis were from most respectable families, and they might have argued with Krishna, "Why don't you simply leave our clothes on the bank of the river and go away?" Krishna might have replied, "But there are so many of you that some of the girls might take clothes belonging to another." Gopis would reply, "We are honest and never steal anything, never touch another's property." Krishna would say, "If that is true, then simply come and get your clothes. What's the difficulty?" When the gopis saw Krishna's determination, they were filled with loving ecstasy. Although embarrassed, they were overjoyed to receive such attention from Krishna. He was joking with them as if they were his wives or girlfriends, and the gopis' only desire was to achieve such a relationship with him. At the same time, they were embarrassed to be seen naked by him, but still they could not help laughing at his joking words and even began to joke among themselves. One gopi urging another, "Go ahead, you go first, and let us see if Krishna plays any tricks on you. Then we'll go later." But it was a difficult situation for the gopis. What to do? Evam bruvati govinde narmana kshipta chetasaha akantha magna shitode vepamana stam abruvan. As Shri Govinda spoke to the gopis in this way, his joking words completely captivated their minds. Submerged up to their necks in the cold water, they began to shiver. Thus they addressed him as follows. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the following example of joking between Krishna and the gopis. And see all these acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Jiva Goswami, Sridhar Swami, Sanatan Goswami, and Shukdev Goswami is speaking this Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, among Narad Muni, Ved Vyas, all these sages are there. So if these are just some talks between lusty boys and girls, do we think that all these self-realized sages would even spend a moment on these talks or describing these pastimes? They would have nothing to do with this. But these are all transcendental, pure pastimes. And by hearing them with the right consciousness, any tinge of lusty desires in our hearts will go away. But the keyword is right consciousness. Krishna would have said, "O bird-like gopis, if you do not come here, then with these garments caught in the branches, I'll make a swing and a hammer. I need to lie down since I have spent the entire night awake and I'm now becoming sleepy." Gopis, "Our dear cowherd boy, your cows greedy for grass have gone into a cave, so you must quickly go there to herd them back on the proper path." Krishna, "Come now, my dear cowherd girls. You must quickly go from here to Braj and perform your household duties. Don't become a disturbance to your parents and other elders." Gopis would say, "Our dear Krishna will not go home for an entire month, for it is by the order of our parents and other elders that we are executing this vow of fasting, the Katyayani Vrata." Krishna, "My dear austere ladies, I too, by the strength of seeing you, have now developed a surprising mode of detachment from family life. I wish to stay here for a month and execute the vow of dwelling in the clouds. And if you show mercy to me, I can come down from here and observe the vow of fasting in your company." So nobody is as playful as Krishna. The gopis were completely captivated by Krishna's joking words, but out of shyness, they submerged themselves in the water up to their necks. Shaking from the cold, they addressed Krishna as follows. "Manyam bho krithas tvam tu nanda gopasutam priyam janimo anga vrajatlagyam dehi vasansi vepita." Gopi said, "Dear Krishna, don't be unfair. We know that you are the respectable son of Nanda and that you are honored by everyone in Braj. You're also very eager, very dear to us. Please give us back our clothes. We are shivering in the cold water." Shyam Sundar te dasya karvam tavoditam dehi vasansi dharmagya no chodragya bruvamahe. O Shyam Sundar, we are your maid servants and must do whatever you say, but please give us back our clothing. You know what the religious principles are. And if you don't give us our clothes, we will have to tell the king. Please. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Bhavatyo yadi me dasyo mayoktam va karishata atragatya vasansi pratichat shuchi vismitaha no chenaham pradasya kim krudho raja karishyati. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, if you girls are actually my maid servants, and if you will really do what I say, then come here with your innocent smiles and let each girl pick out her clothes. If you don't do what I say, I won't give them back to you. And then he says, and even if the king becomes angry, what can he do? What is he going to do to me? I mean, this is really naughtiness. When gopis saw that Krishna was strong and determined, they had no alternative but to abide by his order. Tato jalashayat sarva darika shita vepitaha panibhyam yonim achadya protteru shita karshita. Thus shivering from the painful cold, all the young girls rose up out of the water, covering their pubic area with their hands. The gopis had assumed Krishna that they were his eternal servants. Gopis had assured Krishna that they were his eternal servants and would do whatever he said. And thus they were now defeated by their own words. If they delayed any longer, they thought some other man might come along and this would be unbearable for them. Gopis loved Krishna so much that even in that awkward situation, their attachment to him was increasing more and more, and they were very eager to stay in his company. Thus, they did not even consider drowning themselves in the river because of the embarrassing situation. So they wanted to stay in Krishna's company. They concluded that they could do nothing but go forward to their beloved Krishna, putting aside their embarrassment. Thus the gopis assured each other that there was no alternative and rose up out of the water to meet him. Bhagwana hatavikshya shuddha bhava prasadita skandhe nidhaya vasansi prita provacha sasmitam. When the Supreme Lord saw how the gopis were struck with embarrassment, he was satisfied by their pure, loving affection. Putting their clothes on his shoulder, the Lord smiled and spoke to them with affection. Srila Prabhupada comments, the gopis' simple presentation was so pure that Lord Krishna immediately became pleased with them. All the unmarried gopis who prayed to Katyayani to have Krishna as a husband were thus satisfied. Because a woman cannot be naked before any male except her husband. The unmarried gopis desired Krishna as a husband and he fulfilled their desire in this way. See, this is Vedic injunction. A woman cannot be naked before anybody except her husband. These days, Kali Yuga is completely opposite. Here, anywhere, even in India now, America, Europe, everywhere, they just don't like to wear clothes anymore. Now summer is coming, and here the beaches or everywhere, even in the markets, girls are just naked. So these injunctions are very, very important for chastity, for life, for keeping everybody's consciousness clear. It's very important. For aristocratic girls like the gopis, standing naked before a young boy was worse than that. And yet they decided to give up everything for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. He wanted to see the power of their love for him. And he was completely satisfied by their unalloyed devotion. So this wonderful pastime goes on further. We'll take it up tomorrow. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, so you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.